Well, all right. Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the One on One Sports Show. I'm Mr. Bennett, joined by Brother Hink and Prototype tonight. Brother Sean and Brother Dante. They had some other commitments going on tonight, so we are the substitute teachers who are coming here to bring you some hopefully some good dialogue and some good content. I know these brothers are serious about their sports, and so good to share the panel with these gentlemen tonight. Thank you for coming in on the BMU network. Thank you, Black Man, for all you do in this space. Going to ask that you guys, as you come in, hit the like button as you come in, and helps the algorithm, helps the channel. If you want to drop us a chat, super chat, that's fine too. But again, good to have you guys with us on this Wednesday. After 3 weeks of the NFL, so we got different stats. I don't know if we want to go around the room. First of all, just ask how everyone's doing, and then we can get sort of an updated status on everybody on their teams and their followings and current news that's going on in the world of sports, and then we can get into the main topic. But just wanted to just pass around. So, Brother Hank, how you holding up, sir?
Shit, I'm here, brother. But as far as my team ain't shit. My football team, my NFL team ain't shit. We 0-3. Still waiting to get a victory. Hopefully, we can get it this weekend against the Denver Broncos, who
Yeah.
also I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know. They might come out with a different attitude this weekend because they got dropped 70 points on. But I'm sure we can talk about that too.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. That was I never thought I would see anything like that in my lifetime on the NFL level. And they said last time something that happened was back in
55.
1966, 65, 66. So,
I thought it was
so
like 55 or something like that. I don't know.
yeah, I didn't think that was possible. I think you might have had like 8 teams in the NFL at that point or something like that. But yeah, that was something. But we can dig into that a little bit later on. But prototype, good to have you on board.
What's
And how
good,
are you doing, sir?
man? Trying to live the dream the best I can. That's all.
I heard that. I heard that. Now, who are your sports teams? I don't think I ever known that.
I'm Pittsburgh everything, man. So,
Is that right? All right.
but I'm from
Steelers.
there. I don't think you from there.
No, I am not. No, no. I've been a
Yeah, I don't
Steeler
like Steelers
fan
fans.
since
It's not from my city.
I've been this fan since 1978.
No excuses.
No excuses.
You
I
know, you
can't
know what
help
it
where I
is for
was
me.
born.
There was a time before I left Pittsburgh where I embraced it, right? And then when I
Right.
moved to Georgia, I would see people like rocking the Steelers hard. And I
Right.
would go up there looking for some familiarity, like what I'm saying. Somebody like, "Oh, you from my city, man. You what side of town you on?" Because I'm new in
Right.
Georgia
Right.
at
Right.
that time, and they'd be like, "Oh, I'm from Alabama, or I'm from Kentucky, or I'm from." And I'd be like, "You just messed up my whole mood." Like, I
Wow.
came with the youth expecting somebody a friendly, you know what I mean, and you're none of that. So
Wow. So you're
Yeah, but
so
the only bad thing about it, you got a lot of states that don't have pro teams, so they got to adopt something.
I get it. I get it. I understand it. You know what I mean? But you know what though? It's like because Pittsburgh, we got this fighter mentality. You know what I'm saying? So when we would like watch Steeler games and away games, we're thinking that we're going like, oh, there's Pittsburgh people there going crazy. No, 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 no. They full of them people from everywhere else. They don't know nothing about the city or
now
why we
from what
do
I
it.
understand now historically, because I watched some documentaries on that. From what I was always told was, obviously, Pittsburgh was known as a steel town, so it had all those steel mills and plants back in the day. And when those started to dry up, people started to migrate to other parts of the country, but they carried their fandom with them. So that was the reason I always was taught. The reason why you had Steeler fans all over the country was because people had to leave Pittsburgh because there were no jobs there. But
We
yeah,
we there's Steeler fans because in the '70s there was only three teams on TV. It was the Steelers, the Cowboys, and the Raiders.
yeah,
No other team, nobody else got airplay. You know what I'm saying? So that's why there's so many Steeler fans out. It's not
gotcha.
that Pittsburgh people don't leave; they stay stuck. So
They stay. I hear you. All right, so what made you leave Pittsburgh? What
I
was the
didn't
reason
want to be
behind it?
stuck.
Okay. All right. So not every so you're the exception to the rule, huh?
Yeah, there's exceptions to the rule always. You
I
know what I'm
got you.
saying? But
I
that's
I
not the
heard that.
norm that people leave and not go back.
Gotcha. So you're Pittsburgh, and so I'm assuming you're a Pirates fan, and I don't know if you follow
Pirates,
hockey or
Penguins,
Penguins. So you all
Renegades, you know what I'm saying? Anything
amazing.
Pittsburgh, you know what I mean? I'm a fan of. So
I hear you. And you guys might be the only uh, uh, city where I think all of the sports teams basically have all the same colors, that black and yellow. I don't know if that was ever by design
It's
or
bad,
by
but yeah, we're the only city I think that do that.
yeah, yeah. So that I know when Wiz came out with his Black and Yellow song, that was something that was highlighted in the video. That and I don't think I can't think of another sports town that had that where that was just across the city like that. But good to have you aboard. So again, I hope you're not offended by me being a I don't know what you is there a name for people like me, even though I've been following again Swan and Brad. I got a Bradshaw jersey, I got a Swan
Listen, don't take my own personal things personal. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of Steeler fans that'll accept you with open arms. Just not
I,
me.
appre- I appreciate it. Well, I know I'm in New Jersey, so I know there's a Brick City, which is a nickname for Newark, New Jersey, and I know there's a Brick City group. So I know those guys meet every week for games, and they go up to Pittsburgh and whatnot for the contest as well. So I'm definitely part of some of the local activity up here. But it's been good to have you aboard tonight, and it's good to certainly share first place. After certainly. 49ers whipped us pretty good, but to share first place spot, and again, we don't have any L's against the Central, so yeah,
I'm
I
not
was
accepting that. I'm not accepting none of that.
all right.
Well, it's only 3 games, man, and
I take it
I
one
do
get.
not like I don't like the product that we put on the field. It's terrible. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? The fact that our defense had to score, you know what I mean, just to win that game last week. It's just I don't like what they're doing and moves. I thought they were doing some good things. I'm kind of
right,
mad that we missed out on Jalen Hurts. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right,
but
right.
I'm not a Ben Roethlisberger fan either. So
Oh, okay, okay,
yeah, like
okay.
I've hated him ever since the bike accident. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay, gotcha. I heard that. I heard that. Would you have taken a chance on, since we didn't pick it now? I was a bit high on the quarterback from Liberty. I kind of fell in love with his pro day or his NFL combine. I know he's with the Titans now. I don't think he's getting any reps, but
no, I wanted Ritter.
Ritter. Okay, okay,
Yeah, I wanted Desmond Ritter. What's
gotcha.
your thoughts on that, Hank?
Uh, look, he's from Louisville, Kentucky, and he went to Cincinnati. So I was able to follow him. I he's he was a good system quarterback in college. I don't think he's going to be effective quarterback throughout his NFL career. So I'm not going to be too surprised if they are going to draft a quarterback over him, because I don't think they look. They almost drafted a quarterback this year. It
But
just
the Falcons
wasn't.
is a poor organization, though.
Yeah, but it's always been like that. That's nothing new. You got to remember, you talking about some of the original bad teams, the Saints, Detroit, the Bengals, and Atlanta. They was all those guys that would always go to the games at the end of the season wearing bags. So, but now the tide's starting to turn for some of them. Atlanta had their brief moment when Deion was there and Michael Vick, and when they did go to the Super Bowl that one year. But for as far throughout the history, they haven't. So, like you said, they made a lot of bad decisions as an organization, especially amongst quarterback. When they let Brett Favre go, that was like the nail in the coffee for Jerry Glenn. So,
Yeah,
I don't see them making any more smart decisions on the quarterback position. And I think they're going to have to draft one.
right.
And I don't have no faith in Renner
It's
at all.
interesting.
So
You mentioned Hank. You mentioned two obviously legendary figures with Prime, who we're going to talk about later tonight, and Vic. Who would you say out of those had the biggest impact on Atlanta football? I remember when Prime came out, and I remember the Vic that said the Michael Vick experience, but obviously things didn't work out for either of them. The way they were hoping for. But who do you think had a bigger impact on Atlanta and that culture down there between those two players?
between Deion and Michael Vick,
Yeah,
Michael Vick,
yeah,
Mike, your quarterback's always going to have the bigger. If you got a good quarterback, he's going to shine better than anybody. That doesn't matter. It's always because he's always going to get the praises, but he's also going to have to take that blame too, right?
Mhm.
So I think it's him. Now, when his incident happened, yeah, that he put a light on him, negatively as well as positively. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
had young white kids talking about they want to be like Michael Vick. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Wearing Vick jerseys. I remember going up there a couple times, you know, in 2000 and I think it was 2004, 2005, something like that. And seeing some of these young white kids how much they loved and adored Michael Vick. You know what I'm saying? And so I think it's Michael Vick. He was that guy. You know, Deion was good, but you gotta remember they didn't offer Deion a contract to bring him back, and that's why he ended up at the 49ers because they didn't offer the contract he's looking for.
Right.
So you know,
I'm just thinking about as far as but I'm just thinking in terms of impact. I mean, obviously before Prime, and that may bleed into the conversation later tonight. I mean, I don't think we ever saw an athlete come into the league like Prime before, who came with the sizzle, with the look. You know, he's making music videos, and he's just, I think the first play of his NFL career, he runs a kick return for a touchdown. He's playing with the Yankees in the World Series. So again, he's just got all of these things going on, unlike any other athlete at that particular time. That really had the cameras, and he always had the attention on him.
Yeah, I just don't think Prime became the super prime until he got to San Francisco and the Cowboys.
I agree.
That's when he took it to a whole new, because
I agree.
Unfortunately, during that time, Atlanta was a small media market. It just wasn't the way it is now.
Yep.
So once you got to California, you're looking at a whole different market.
Yeah.
Once he got to Dallas,
team, the 49ers that year.
Yeah.
Goodness.
I mean, then when he got to Dallas, it took it to a whole new level.
Yeah.
Right.
So you know that I think that's why I'm continue to say Michael Vick, man, because I mean, look, there wasn't a commercial you seen Vick on. You know, I don't remember no national commercial for Prime when he was in Atlanta. All of them I remember was when he was at the 49ers and the Cowboys.
Right.
I don't remember him with no national commercial. But when Vick was there, I remember his shoes. I mean, you know, and that was when I was still into tennis shoes. Yeah. They had a ride at amusement parks. You know what I'm saying? The Vick experience. You know what I'm saying? Y'all remember he had the little video. You see them? You know, cats was the rap videos. Everybody wearing a Michael Vick jersey. I mean, it was just hot. You know, that's when the time wearing up oversized jerseys, knowing they really are extra large, but they wearing 3 and 4 eggs out there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It just he was.
But you don't think the guys will start wearing the bandanas and whatnot? And plus, he also hooked up with Hammer during that time, and that Too Legit.
I think it was just it was a different time. You know what I'm saying? So the media wasn't necessarily what it was in 2000 in 2002. You know what I'm saying? When Vic came, you know, and hit the market.
Compared to what 91 and 92.
Yeah, it's two different times. Like, you know what I'm saying? But Prime really didn't. Like I said, I'm with Hank on that. Like, it was the 49er move when it really became that was a huge deal.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And then for him to jump to the Cowboys, like that was a huge deal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, until then, he was kind of like underground hip hop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he didn't go mainstream until he hit the 49ers.
Gotcha. All right, good insights. Good insights. All right. Let's see what else we want to talk before we get into the main topic. I don't know if you got how have you guys into the NBA, but I think there was a major trade today. So you have a Dime traded to the Bucks, so he's going to be teamed up with Giannis. Do any of you guys think that's going to shift the balance of power from the West to the East? I know they lost Drew Holiday in the deal, which the only thing I'm questioning that, because I know Drew Holiday was a pretty decent defender. And I know Dame isn't necessarily known for his defense, but how just early impressions, if you heard that news, what you think of that initial move for the Bucks acquiring Dame, and what do you see? Do you think how do you see that helping or hurting the Bucks? You muted, Hank.
Losing Drew Holiday, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal because they already had defense with Chris Middleton and Giannis, right? So they already had that. Where I thought they was lacking was that offensive punch, you know. And I think Dame is going to be able to give even at the age of 32 now. And so I think your starting five will be fine. What did they lose as far as the rotation players, your bench players? I didn't see too many bench players. I think it was like 2 bench players that was lost in the midst of the trade.
Yeah,
But
there
now
was
it was a three team
Grayson
trade.
Allen, and I
Yeah.
think there was another
And
gentleman.
so I don't think that losing Grayson Allen ain't gonna be. I don't think it's gonna
No,
be.
it's not going to be necessary. No, it's not.
But I, it was a three-team trade, so there's some other teams that's going to be affected. Phoenix was involved in
Correct.
the trade,
Correct.
as
Right.
well as of course, the Portland Trailblazers. And so I don't know. As far as the power going from east to west, right now, I can't really say what side is really having the power because we know Milwaukee won a title. You know, Denver just came off winning the title, so it's pretty
Right.
much kind of
And prior to
so
that,
it's kind
Golden
of
so it's
hard.
Golden
Yeah,
State. So right. I mean,
yeah,
Milwaukee won 2 years ago, then Golden
yeah.
State, and then now Denver. So
And so to say who's going to have the power, I don't know, man. I tell you this: the East is going to continue to be lopsided. It's going to be top heavy. The
yeah,
West. The West, man, look, I tell you this. I always thought this theory. I said, I wish the NBA just put the top 16 teams. I don't care what conference, what division, whatever the case may be. Put the top 16 teams. If that means 15 of them are in the West, so be it. And let them play.
mm,
But, of course, they're not going to do that. So the East is going to continue to produce maybe four good teams. And them other four teams they're going to put in there, they're going to have losing records. They could probably be up maybe five, 5 to 10 games over 500 would be your top, your bottom four. So it's, I don't know. I
how
just
about
think
you?
the top four are just going to be good and they're going to be competitive.
Gotcha.
Now, with your West, the eighth team could beat the number one team in the East. That's the thing about it. The eighth team in the West could beat the number one team in the East if they was able to make it to the finals.
Right.
So it's definitely going to be interesting how it all pans out. But I don't know if I can say the East or the West is stronger than the other and what is really tied to change. No, because Milwaukee was already a top four team in the East anyway.
Right.
It
So
do them to make them a little bit better. I think, just put them over the edge. I think they probably win the East. I think they're probably more likely to make it back to the finals. They probably play maybe against Miami. I see them playing against Miami for the Eastern Conference Championship game, and it'll probably be a 4-2.
mhm.
4-2 series, and I see Milwaukee probably end up facing like Denver.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha. All right. Prototype. Any insight on your end?
I
On
don't
the
watch
trade.
much basketball. I'm football all
Gotcha.
the time.
Football. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, let's get into it then. So again, so the topic of the show is: Are coaches colluding against Dion, or is there jealousy from all the attention? So again, those are two very different questions. I might want to start with the second question first. Obviously, all the buzz with Colorado. He was on 60 Minutes last week, and certainly they suffered their first loss against Oregon, 42-6, and so the attentions there is how they're going to respond in this next game. I know they have some very tough games coming up. I think they have USC next, and so the next, and then Utah's also on the schedule, so they're going to have some games to get over. Not sure what the status of Travis Hunter is going to be. I don't think he's going to be playing in the next game, even though I believe he's asked to play. But I think Prime has basically shut that down. So they're going to be short. Arguably their best overall player, and so they're going into some tough waters. But the question on jealousy, I mean, we've seen it's like every game that this year there's been some controversy either off the field, whether it be in the press conferences ahead of the game, confrontations on the field amongst the players. So there's definitely been a buzz. I mean, the ratings have been throughout the roof. I know that the Colorado State game. I'm on the East Coast, so I mean those guys drew major numbers. Most of my friends, we were all up into the AM watching that game. So it's certainly good for the ratings have been great for college football and the networks. But you've certainly seen a lot of this activity. Each coach has said something either about Shador or about Prime in very subtle ways. So the question is, where do you think this is coming from? Is just a coach coaches just trying to ramp up their teams. We all know about the comments from the Colorado coach talking about, my parents taught me to take off my hat and shades when I'm speaking to adults, and then you had the father from the Oregon coach talking about, we don't play for clicks, we play for wins. So where do you think, is this coming from a sense of jealousy from these coaches, or it's just the nature of the game where these guys are just trying to whoever the opponent is, just trying to get an edge and trying to get their teams ready to play. So Hank, if you want to take that one first, what do you think is really going on? Where it seems like every week with Colorado, it's not about the game per se. Oftentimes, it's the game before the game that's been talked about.
I talked about this on my show, the Basement Sports Recap, man, on Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Cheap plug right there. My bad. My bad.
It's all good.
But yeah, it's funny. Keyshawn Johnson was talking about this on the Undisputed.
Yeah, undisputed. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I look. I listened to. I don't know if y'all had the opportunity. I started subscribing to the Buffalo TV, and been watching all the press conference that come on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And so he had one like Monday. Somebody turned me on to it. I think it was World Class turned me on to it, and so I started following it, and I started going back and watching some of the other clips. But hey, man, he said during his press conference this week that that's nothing new. A lot of teams do that. Mm-hmm. I mean, I remember, hearing my coaches talk to some friends after games. Hey, I see y'all got such and such that week. Hey, look out for this guy. Look out for that guy. They like to run this a lot. That's nothing new. It's been like that. When I was at Murray State, they did the same thing. Back in the days when we played little league football and high school football. Back in my time, you had the VHS tapes, and you had a guy that would go every game and videotapes, and he was selling for $5 to coaches. Right. Because a lot of times you have coaches would be nasty. They wouldn't exchange tapes like they used to do, like at the JV games on Mondays. Right. They would exchange videotapes so you could get some film on them. Some coaches wouldn't do it. So now you have to go get the hustle man, the videographer man, who's selling the tapes for like $5 to get tapes of these other teams' film. That's just what they used to do back in the days. So there's no different. That's the same concept. You call your buddy, hey, man, look, I see y'all playing him. Watch out for this guy. These guys are kind of dirty. So you can definitely have a conversation with the refs, how they play. Watch how they play. Watch how number 79 does. He holds a lot. You might want your players to tell the referees, or you talk to referees, tell them kind of watch it. That's nothing new. Coaches help other coaches if they friends in that circle. They do it all the time. So I'm not surprised by what Keyshawn was saying. I believe it happens even on the NFL level. You want to win, and if whatever advantage you can get to win, you're going to take it. I'm gonna call my buddy. Hey, man, what do you think about this team? And what do you think about that team? You know what I'm saying? So I don't see nothing new. I don't see it as a problem. I don't think there's nothing wrong with it. I think it's just a way of good sportsmanship. Now, you can't be out there doing that Bill Belichick bullshit. You can't be out there intentionally filming their practice and saying, no, you can't do that. Now, that's something totally different. Right. But if they're having conversation, interaction like that, I don't see it as a problem.
So you're dealing kind of with the second. I guess was the first question, but I want to hold off on that one. Okay. While you're talking about the conclusion, I'm dealing more, I guess, with the jealousy aspect, like the way coaches have been sort of chirping. Again, the Colorado coach might have been the most flagrant in that. Is this coming from a place of, has Prime really paid his dues? I think the coach at Colorado State, I think he's 60 years old. Some of these guys have been around for a while, looking for this opportunity. They haven't been getting this kind of shine. And here you have Prime coming in, and he seems to be, getting all the attention, which I think, just personally, I don't see where the jealousy would be, because your program's getting elevated. Like I said, the ratings for these games have been astronomical. And rather than looking at it as an opportunity to promote your program, it seems like coaches are taking it certain ways or whatever. So prototype, hear your thoughts on this. What do you think? Do you think there is jealousy from a lot of these coaches regarding the attention that Prime is getting. Like say he was just on last week was on 60 Minutes, and he's just getting this this attention that they've worked their whole lives for. Do you think that could be driving some of the angst, or do you think there is jealousy going on here with how these coaches are approaching it?
No, I don't necessarily think that. I'm kind of on the same page as Hank, man. Like there's locker room fuel every per team
Mhm.
every week. You know what I mean? So whatever edge you could get to get your players fired up, they're going to use it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I don't necessarily think there's any like real jealousy or anything like that. Um, I just think people are using the opportunities that are given, right? So like even having Colorado on having them on the schedule at this point is becoming a primetime game, and it's your opportunity to kind of show out. So I think
Absolutely.
everybody's using it, using it to their advantage, and opportunity to get them. I would say that even the people in the division was excited about him coming too, like because they have them on the schedule.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Right.
so, like hey, we got them on the schedule. We get a chance to play on blah 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 blah. So no, I don't think there's any real jealousy. I just think people are having fun with it. And media
Right.
is
Right.
doing what media does.
Right, right. But it's interesting how I've been certainly I have friends of mine. We've been talking about the games, and you certainly have these camps, at least amongst the fandom, that there's something going on, and especially in the Colorado State game, they were talking about all the penalties, the hits, obviously, with Travis Hunter being taken out. For me, the most flagrant was near the end of the game where Shador took a hit from a lineman from Colorado State, where he speared him with the head and then he drove him into the ground. So certainly a lot of people were saying, well, something must be going on because these teams are doing something a little bit extra. Or in the Colorado game, I'm sorry, the Oregon game, people were talking about, oh, well, they're running up the score, going on and for the fake punt on fourth down, and people are talking about, oh, they're just trying to embarrass or just try to show them up or what have you. Again, I wasn't in that camp, but it seems like a lot of people are in almost. It's weird. It's almost like with Prime. It's almost like they feel that he's almost like a reflection of them, or they see themselves in Prime and they just think that anybody who's coming at them in one way or another, it's almost like an attack on them. So there's definitely a phenomena going on, I think, with certain fans that are saying that an attack on Prime is basically an attack on us, whether it be black culture or black people in general. And that he stamps. So again, there's just a lot of narratives that are being raised as far as what he's doing as a coach, whom he's representing, and certainly how people have embraced him as their champions. Yeah, what's also ironic about this is a lot of these same people, they were the ones who were certainly upset when he left Jackson State. So it seems like now they've kind of got, you don't even hear about Jackson State anymore. But certainly you have people who are, seem like they're embracing his fight as their own. And what do you
Well, I
guys
mean,
think?
it's kind
Yeah.
of like it's kind of like the OJ trial. You know what I mean? It's-
That's
like
why that's a heck of an analogy.
that's
I
it's
think I know
just
where
one
you're
of
going
those
with that.
times where like everybody was mad at him for leaving Jackson, but then it's kind of like we finally get to have one up. You know what I'm saying? I think we've been
Mhm.
deprived so long that we're just looking for any kind of win,
Any
anything
kind
to
of
be
win.
a part of that.
Right.
Say hey, black people are excelling at this rate or that rate. Um, but like I said, I really don't think it's really too much to really look into. It's just football's being it's football. I would say he's having a huge effect on the market. You know what I mean? Like I've
Yes.
never in my life, like we're Pittsburgh fans, right?
Right.
Even with Cordell Stewart, I've never seen a Colorado Buffalo game ever. Like you know what
Right.
I'm saying? So the fact that I've watched all 4 games this year, like you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying, is it's something different. Or however many games they play, like I've watched them all.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I'm
But
same here. Yeah. I haven't watched Cincinnati. I think they won the national championship in 1990, and I think that's when they had, I think, Eric Bieniemy and those guys, and I think they played Notre Dame, and I think Notre Dame had Ishmael at the time. So
I was
it was
7.
sure
I
that
was
was
on
yes. There was a lot of buzz. There was a lot of buzz about that time, but I agree with you. That was the last time that in my life that Colorado was relevant, and obviously Cordell, obviously coming from there and playing for the Steelers. I think they drafted him in '94, I believe,
Yeah.
93, 94. He came to the Steelers, so that was. So that was it. So hang on, we got a comment from Black Man. Said Colorado made history. They are in Fox Noon kicked off for the next 4 weeks. They have already been in the last three. So so to this point that he's making, again, is it could would it even be human, or is it human in fact that say, hang on, you got a great program like Oregon that's always in the high Pac-10 races, or in and around the top 10 or even the national championship game uh, um, circles, and it seemed like they're being upstaged by a team that again won one game last year,
Mm.
and now they've already tripled their output. And again, I think I'll be impressed if they can win 6 games this year. Honestly, like I said, I think the next 2 games that are coming up are going to be very difficult for them. And they could possibly get to 6, but it wouldn't shock me if they only won 5. Um, but nevertheless, though, it's it's all prime all the time, at these games, regardless of if they were playing Alabama. I almost tend to think it would still be about prime, or he would be it's like they'll be like Nick, when it came to the coaches. So what it if there was, could you blame coaches? Let's put it this way. So if you're a coach of one of these major Power 5 programs, and here prime coming in getting all this attention, again, do you think it's natural
Are we
for these
women here?
coaches to,
Is
I'm
it
I'm
like it?
I'm just throwing it I'm just throwing it out there. But I mean, there has been, and like there is an old school mentality. Sometimes when it comes to some of these coaching ranks, people talk about again paying your dues, earning your stripes, that sort of thing. So there could be an element of it that's out there. And again, I don't buy into the conspiracy theories like a lot of my friends are doing, or try to find any. I mean, they're chirping on every play that, oh well, the refs are on the take, or something's not right about. I mean, they're so hypersensitive about every play that happens in these games. I think they certainly take it to another level. But for these coaches of these major programs, um, jealousy oftentimes comes from having the attention used on you because you're a Power 5, and now these guys that are barely scratching the top 20, they're getting all the airtime, they're getting all the space. And again, we also know in college, everything boils down to recruiting. So if this is going to help Colorado in terms of recruiting players that those same schools are going to be going after, do they have a reason to be at least, if not jealous, at least nervous about the prospect of possible top 5, 5 ranked, 5-star and 4-star athletes going to Colorado versus their school. So
Well, Mr. Bennett, they just got to step their game up. Other coaches just got to step the game up. It's a competitive business. It's always been like that. Now, what it is, they don't like to see this confident black man, and he said it before, and I agree with him wholeheartedly. This confident black man talking his shit. It's intimidating to them. That good old boy program that they used to, they always had it. They always was. What was that guy back in the 70s? Used to be on CBS Sports. They used to call him the gambler, the cowboy, something like that. He was a big old gambler, and he had a commercial talking about them black players playing the quarterback position. And
Or
now he
about,
said,
what about Jimmy the Greek?
yes. Now he's talking about them getting into coaching. Well, Jimmy the Greek, I know you probably turning in your grave right now. We here, and we ain't going
Yeah.
nowhere. We are not going anywhere. We are here to stay. And so now that Deion's doing it in a different way, in a flamboyant way, he's always been like this. This is
Right.
nothing new. So for them talking about he's not he hasn't paid his due. This man played over 15 years in the NFL. What do you
Well,
mean he hasn't played his due?
right.
He
Right.
played
Well,
he
yeah.
played, he played over 3+ years in college. What do you
Right.
mean he hasn't paid his due?
But see,
He's
but
been
this is
playing
but
high
this is
school
the
ever since he's
thing.
been playing, little league football.
Right.
He's paid his due. Now,
Right.
is he seasoned as a head coach? No, he's not. but he's paid his due as far as the game of football. He probably knows more than a lot of them coaches on the sideline, and they jealous and they envious of him.
Right.
And I think that's just what it is. They hate to see this brother do his thing, talk his shit, and do it well. Look, I'm gonna say this. In 3 years, I'm talking about 3 years from today, not counting this year, but 3 years from today, his fourth year, I think they're gonna be competitive. And I think they're gonna make, and by the end, it's gonna be the 8 teams gonna make the playoffs. I wouldn't be surprised he's in the playoffs. I would not be surprised he's in the playoffs. Why? Because he's gonna get them dogs that he talks about. He's gonna get them players he's talking about. Them 5-star guys is gonna be sitting on the bench at Alabama's, at the Auburns, at the USC's. They're not going to want to sit the bench because these kids are not patient. They want to get in there and get playing now. And so they're going to be thinking, shit, I might have to sit 2 to 3 years before I get an opportunity to get on the field.
Right.
I mean, they're doing that now.
Go somewhere else and go do it now.
Yeah,
you said, what, my man?
Alabama now.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Right. But see, he got a late start compared to what he's going to have now. Now, this time next year, you're going to see more. And year after that, more. Matter of fact, he's going to be he's already beaten some of these guys out.
Here's a question. You think Prime can get the white kid, though? Like, is he going to get the Christian McCaffrey?
Great question. Well, that's the thing. I don't think he needs to get the. I mean, obviously, I think what we saw certainly in the last 2 games, the Oregon game in particular, he needs to go to, again, Nebraska and Iowa and get the guys on the lines. So I think he's always going to be very effective in getting the skill player. You know, the corner, the wide receiver, the quarterback. I think he can go in that room and he can sell that message. But can he get that Cornhusker, that 300-pound lineman? Because clearly where their biggest problem is, they got skill players, but they're losing the battle on the line. They can't get a pass rush and they can't protect the quarterback.
He can get the black ones.
So I'm gonna say this. He's going to be getting white player. Let me tell you why. Because the fathers of them kids, they enamored by Deion because they remember seeing Deion play. They remember seeing him play. Their coaches, they remember seeing him play. They're going to say, this guy's a Hall of Famer. How many Hall of Famers you going to see in the coaches' rank? You're not going to see that. There's not many. This guy's a Hall of Fame type player. He was a Hall of Fame type player. He knows football. And if he continues to win, first of all, he's gonna lock up the state of Colorado. That won't be a problem. He's gonna get the in-state kids. He's gonna get the in-state white kids and what the 1% of black kids that's in Colorado. He's gonna get them.
But that's it. Is Colorado a known powerhouse for football, for high school recruits?
Maybe not.
Usually it's Texas Texas, and even
whatever,
East Coast,
Jersey,
Jersey,
whatever the best they got, he's gonna get them if he wants them.
That I agree with. Yeah,
if he wants them. Now, if not, he's going to get the neighboring states because Nebraska's not good.
Are you saying this because he pulled Travis Hunter?
No, I'm saying this because of the other players he's pulling, the other people he's talking that's talking about transferring and the visits he's getting. He's getting all of it. He's going to get them white boys that a lot of people may be worried about because again, they're high school coaches. They know who Deion is. The fathers know who Deion is. You know what I'm saying? So they was already enamored. Damn, that's Deion.
There's another question though. Is like how many years Shador got? What, 2 left? Maybe
1
this year, next year, one more.
I would say 1. Yeah,
He's got 2 years if he wanted. He's got 2 years eligibility if he wanted.
Right. So is Deion staying when Shador's gone? I don't think so.
So you think he's gonna leave out the what? 2 years?
That's a whole nother question.
Absolutely. Once Shador's gone, Deion's moving on.
But
do you think he's going to get NFL on, or is he moving up?
Because I don't
know. I mean, that might be a part of his transition to go up to the NFL. But you got to think though, this whole thing. I was just watching an interview with him, and his whole reason why he even started coaching is because he wanted to be there for his son. He didn't like how his son was being coached, so he's followed Shador from 6 years old till now.
Mm-hmm.
So after Shador is done, what's Colorado going to be? They get a 2-year spike, and I think he's gone. I think he's going to move on.
Right. But do you think a Power 5 school, and again, obviously it depends on, so he's got 2 years, so I don't know. I don't think there are national championship contenders in 2 years. But do you think a Power Five school like an LSU or what have you, or Florida State, depending on how that situation turns out, do you think they would take a chance on Deion? Do you think he would go to that level, or the fact that his Louis Vuitton, he's carrying his Louis Vuitton with him, and that Louis Vuitton was Travis and Shador and his other son, the DB, that's really the buzz is. But do you think he even has a future at a Power Five school?
Yeah,
If he wanted it, but I don't
yeah.
think he's. I don't even think he's going to stay. When Shador's done, I think he's done.
Mm.
You think he's done with football, period, or you think he's going to try to NFL?
I don't know. I don't know. You know, the NFL is a little different, and that might be his goal to go coach the NFL. You know, and go that way, but because that's one thing he
says
hasn't
it
done is
with
coach
so
the
much
NFL.
disdain, though. That's why I don't think he's going to NFL, because he said it with so much disdain. Talking about the athletes in the NFL, you can't tell them nothing. They they make all this money. You can't really, you talk about grown ass men.
Man, he's a
They really don't want to
businessman.
listen. It's hard to really motivate them. Most of them should already be self motivated because they're professionals. But you got that situation now. I don't know. It might just be
I
fluff
think
and
he
talk.
says what he says because
Yeah,
remember
it
he
might
was
just
just
be a
like,
lot
I
of
am
fluff.
swag. He
Yeah.
ain't swag no more, right?
So I think it might be just fluff. But as far as another college, I think he'll go home to mama. Florida State probably, if he goes to another college, I think he'd go to Florida State. But right now, Florida State have no reason to fire their coach because they're
He
number
just
one in the ACC.
He just said he didn't graduate from Florida State. Like he
I
owes
know,
them nothing.
No, you're right, but I think he still has a soft spot in the heart for them. I wouldn't be surprised by it.
I don't
So
know.
I think it'd be the only college team he go to.
The last interview I heard him say, "Man, I didn't graduate from Florida State. I don't
No,
owe
you
them
graduate
nothing." Blah blah blah
TCU.
blah. Like you know what I'm saying? Like so.
Yeah, but everything changes if he gets an offer. But we'll see
he has
if
plenty of money.
we cross that bridge. But I want to bring in.
If-
I love the. Hang on. I love the man. I love the man. Lost in translation. You know you the man, but that hat is just not doing something for me. So, and the fact that you're sandwiched between two diehard Steeler fans that still have a 2-to-1 ratio win total in Super Bowls over you guys. So I'm not terribly upset at you, but always a pleasure to have you on, my brother. Welcome to the chat tonight. So I just want to acknowledge you. Prototype, you want to make your, I'm sorry, Hink, if you want to make your last point, and then we'll bring Lost in Translation and get his perspective on the prime effect, so to speak.
Now, I don't. As far as college will be fools if they pass him up or they don't offer him a job or give him opportunity. They'd be fools right now. First of all, they see more than likely if you offer the man a job, your school is probably not winning. They probably only winning 4 to 5 games, and they done it for the probably last 3 years, and now they're looking for something different. Look, let me tell you how much is Deion effect going to be. These new coaches these new schools going to be looking for a job. They're going to try to get the next Deion. They're going to try to get the next Deion, and there's no more Deions out there because Deion's a different breed, right? He's a different animal. So there's no more Deion, but they're going to try to get something similar.
Right. But that's the problem, though. But to me,
he's going to bring in them players. He's going to bring in them athletes. He's bringing notoriety. He's bringing money. And a lot of the schools, they need that. So why wouldn't you want to have somebody like Deion as a coach?
Right. But that's part of your problem. There is not another Deion. That's why when he was talking about when he left Jackson State, he's like, oh, well, I've led the blueprint. There is no blueprint for replacing Prime. I mean, he came in with all those endorsers and companies and all those sort of things. What other players are on that level who have his cachet coming in? So I don't see how you're going to be able to replicate that at an HBCU. With his brand. But I think Prototype made a good point that after Shador leaves, we'll see how long he stays with Colorado, but again, would people be willing to give him a promotion? I think a lot of it's going to be on can he recruit beyond the skill position player. I think that's going to be big because that's where they're hurting right now. Remember, they replaced the whole team anyway. They got 80. They came in, I think, 85 new players. And still you see the deficiencies on the offensive defensive line. So he's got to be able to get into those rooms again in Nebraska, in Iowa, in North Dakota, with those families to see can he sell as much as he can to the black kids, in these other areas. So To me, that's going to be a major factor. Can he get those kids? If he can get them, because again, we always see this every for years. We've seen this, especially when it came to the bowl series. You would get like a Oregon in there, or you get like a Notre Dame in there, and they get blown out by an SEC team in the championship game because those guys were just too big on the line. And so, so again, to win championships at this level, you have to have superior line play. Georgia, in the last couple of years, you have to have that in order to win. So he's got to show that he can get those players, those 5 stars, not just the receivers or the quarterbacks or the DBs. But lost translation, like to get your perspective. So again, the first part that we're dealing with, again, I want to deal with this question first before we got into the collusion issue, if it's an issue at all. But I'm talking about the jealousy aspect. Is there a jealousy component to this? If so, where's it coming from? Is it the fact that he hasn't paid his dues yet in the minds of some people? Or is it the fact, and I know, Hink, you were alluding to this earlier, I didn't want to lose the point, the type of person that Deion is. People are just not comfortable having a black man of that ilk with that swag that he comes in with, and they just don't see in their minds. They don't look at that. That doesn't resonate as head coach. When they used to say back in the day that blacks didn't have the necessities of the capacity. Al Campanis back in '87 talked about black players not having necessities to be coaches and managers and things of that nature. Is it just their bias that they see a certain mold of a person and in the role of a head coach, and they just can't get over that? And is there possibly even a racial tinge to that is worrying these the establishment, if you will, of this coaching fraternity? So I'd like to get your 2 cents on what do you see in this matter.
First of all, thank you guys for having me on this evening. Just to give y'all a little bit of background, all this other stuff that I do, that's cool, but I cut my teeth on football.
All right.
As a matter of fact, I'm a moderator for Voch Lombardi on the volume over there for ESPN. So
nice.
This is all we do is talk football.
Awesome.
There's a lot of things that people don't realize that's going on with this Deion Sanders situation. First of all, Deion is a marketer first. You know what I'm saying? And what happens is that he's good for doing what he's doing. Now, he's borrowing from his success. Let me tell you why the other teams and the other coaches are jealous. Number one, he's coming in at the right time. We got NIL deals coming on. So that means these guys can get money from anywhere. I don't know about y'all, but it's money in Colorado. They claim they ain't got no money, but Colorado's like Alabama. They got money. And if they keep doing what they're doing, they're gonna build, an Alabama. And I'll tell you how they're gonna do it. Deion Sanders has pull because he has connections with ex-NFL players. You know what I mean? People who people can relate to. And these guys have experience. And they brought in Warren Sapp and a whole bunch of other people.
Terrell Lawrence,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
Weekend,
So I'm going to tell you what he's going to do. He's going to use that transfer portal. Remember he first got there to Colorado. He said, I'm bringing my luggage with me. And it's Louis. He wasn't playing. You know what I'm saying? This is just his first year players. Now imagine what's going to happen next year when you get guys that's going to be leaving the Alabamas, like he got a couple of guys up there now, guys that's going to be leaving the Georgias. You know what I'm saying? Because they know that Prime is going to bring in guys that's going to coach them from the NFL level. And we're talking about Hall of Famers. Who else better to teach you how to be a better player than another Hall of Famer?
Yeah, Warren Sapp, I think, just joined his team, his roster, I think.
Correct. So you got guys like Warren Sapp. Well, that plays right into what you guys were talking about, getting his lineup. It's easier to get special team guys and skill guys, but it's harder to get those guys that you need in the trenches. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing, what's going to happen. All Deion has to do is get to 500 and get to a bowl game and get more exposure. The news networks are doing it for him. You see what I'm saying? So here's the thing, what people don't fail to realize is that Deion is popular everywhere. Where his players are going to come from, they're going to come from Florida. They're going to come from Texas. They're going to come from California. You see what I'm saying? Those are the hotbeds. And some from Alabama, then Georgia, the South, because that's where he cut his teeth at. In Atlanta, like we talked about Atlanta. Man, let me tell you something. When Deion was in Atlanta in the 90s, it was a circus, man. You know what I mean? I mean, everything was jumping. And people remember that. Mike Vick, he did what he did, but Deion put Atlanta on the map. You know what I'm saying? I saw it because I was there. You know what I mean? Everybody, all the kids wanted to be like Mike Vick, but everybody respected Deion, especially like Prototype said when he left and he went to San Fran. That was a whole nother market, just like he said. And then when he got to Dallas, that's the biggest stage on the land, you know. But my thing is this: with the formulation of the NIL deals, that means basically he can pretty much get who he want to get. And the only reason his team is the way it is now is because of his name, and he brought the guys in now. But see, he's getting a little bit of success. So the more they keep him in the news, the more he's going to be newsworthy, and people are going to want to play with him. It's the same thing that happened when he was at Jackson State. You know what I mean? I went to Alabama State. Man, it's been a while since we sold out a game, but as soon as he came to town, guess what?
Yeah.
Sold it out, and he sold it out wherever he went. And then what we messed up at is we kept messing with the money. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't do right down there at Jackson State. So he was like, you know what? I'm about to get up out of here. Now, to speak earlier to your question, you said that what's he going to do when Shador leaves? I'm with Prototype on this. He may leave after them 2 years. And if I think I know what's going to happen, what's the biggest stage that Deion can go to? If our coach keep messing up, I can see him up there in Dallas.
God
I
damn,
can.
stop.
Wow.
I can see him up there in
You
Dallas,
need
man.
to stop this shit. You
I
need
can
to
see him up
stop
there in
this
Dallas,
bullshit.
man.
You know what I'm talking? That's why.
biggest
Look here.
Deion Sanders
This is
only
all
goes
goddamn
to the
setup.
biggest stages. I'm
This is
telling
all
you.
got he would have had for that
Listen.
reason only.
Listen, I had to set it up. Hank. You know what I'm saying? I had to set it up, man.
I know.
Well,
see
you
it.
would have based on
It was
your
a
back,
slow,
you may have more line.
methodical setup, but you set it up.
Hey, man, I had to set it, especially after this past weekend, too, you know. Listen, I love Dan Quinn, but Dan need horses, too, you know, just like Deion need horses. I give Deion about another 2 years. He really going to be making some noise, especially going to the Big 12 now, because he'll be able to do some things out there. You know, there won't be a Oklahoma. There won't be a Texas. They'll be over in the SEC. You see what I'm saying? It'll be a whole nother ball game, you know? And that's the reason why he's getting his cachet up, why he still has Oregon, why he still has USC. I can't wait to see that game. I don't know about y'all, but I want to see that game.
Yeah.
But as far as Travis Hunter is concerned, I thought that was a dirty hit. I really do. That looked like that was a high-low situation by the way he did it. And the first guy shielded him. And then Travis pulled up and the guy surprised him and hit him because he didn't brace himself. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was pretty dirty. And I'm thinking there's probably going to be a lot more that came from. But I think the real reason why people hate Deion is because he is boisterous. But he's always been that way. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? He's always been that way. And what happens is other people think he has an unfair advantage, but that's just him, you know? Right. And you know what? Another thing, too, people are going to juice it for what it is, to be honest. You know, they're going to use it to make bulletin board material because these other guys are recruiting too because they playing against Deion. So this is their time to shine. So that's the reason why each week, each coach is going to have something to say, and it's going to be bulletin board material. Now, Deion will take his lumps. You know what I mean? And people are going to try to run the score up on him. But I promise you, give him about another year or two and an opportunity to get some more players in there, it's going to be a wrap, bro. They're going to be doing something that ain't been seen in a while.
I don't think you're ever going to see it because, like we already said, we kind of agree that he's going to leave after Shador.
Yeah,
but I think he's going to struggle without Travis Hunter.
I agree.
I think that's the main reason why they lost less. They don't have the Travis Hunter,
right?
You know what I'm saying? So without that prime time player, there ain't no depth for that,
right?
You know what I mean? There's no depth for somebody who goes both ways and is dominant on both sides of the ball,
right?
Yeah, I don't think they was going to lose. I thought they was going to lose regardless. Even if Travis Hunter,
I mean, but it wasn't
because their defense can't stop anyone. I mean, so it would have almost been like that Colorado State game.
They don't play defense. They don't play defense out there anyway. You know what I'm saying? None of them teams play defense for real.
Which is why again, when
they get to the Big 12,
all those Pac-12 teams, if they get into the national conversation or the championship games, they get beat on by LSU, Alabama, Georgia, whatever, because they're just too big and they just dominate the line. So that always happens. You get these fast horses and speed guys, but you know they see speed kills, but size, you know, you can't teach that either. So,
the unfortunate thing for Deion is that he's playing in the Pac-12 this year, where the Pac-12 is having their best year ever.
Right,
they're having the best year ever this year. They have 8 teams in the top 25 right now. 8 teams in the top 25. The Pac-10 has. So he's in the Pac-10. I mean, that's what used to be called. He's in the Pac-12. Where they are having their best year. And this is it. This once this is over, there's
It's
no
over.
more Pac-12. You got what, maybe 2 teams going to be left, Washington State and Oregon State.
Yep.
And then they're going to have a bunch of just bodies. So, it's going to be
So
something to say, I
he
won
would
the
so he
Pac-12
probably
this year.
so he probably be looking to leave regardless because of just where the conference is going and whatnot and people defecting. So again, Colorado or a lot of these Pac-12s situations may not be the best long term for his career anyway, regardless of his sons would stay or not, or if he would decide to stay. But let's move on to I guess the second part of this question. Really, the first question, the idea of collusion. Now, collusion, as just like anything else, I know that was a term that I first started hearing with the NFL, especially when it came to like Colin Kaepernick, where there is a concerted effort. There are meetings, there's emails, there is where people get together to say. We need to have as a pack, we're going to play this team differently. Anytime Deion's on, there's a strategy on how to play. So again, the hits that you saw on Hunter and again Lawson, I thought the hit on Shador was worse.
It was.
With the first speared him, clearly speared him with the helmet, and then drove him into the ground. I thought that was really a dirtier hit in my view than the Hunter play. But as far as, do we think that coaches are, in fact, now we talked earlier about how it's common for coaches, especially if you know each other, to share game plans, to share materials on, hey, what do you think of this team? How do you play them or whatever? That's a natural part of the game. But do we think that there is, based on, especially within the Pac-12, since those are the majority of the schools on their schedule for the remainder of the year, do you think that there could possibly be a concerted effort for collusion, a way of how they play them, how they address him? Do you think some of this could be intentional, or do you think that some of this is just natural? What coaches? This is just what coaches do. Coaches share tape. Coaches share strategy. So where do you fall in that? Since I think Hank and Prototype gave their perspective. You guys can go back and revisit if you want to flesh out your points more, but I want to get lost in here as well. So do you, Hank or Prototype, do you want to expound on the points that you were making earlier before we turn it over?
No, I don't have to. Lawson or Prototype can go ahead. I think I said enough about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's a part of the game, man. Like Prototype said earlier. That's just what coaches do. You know what I mean? Even when we was in high school, we did it. And you had to realize, man, this is a competitive sport. So any edge that you can get, yeah, they're gonna do that. That's a part of scouting the game. You got to figure out who your best players are, and you got to, make sure that you contain them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to, just like you saw what happened with Dallas when Trayvon Diggs went out. Them guys lost their neck. You know what I'm saying? They had to convert to a whole defense and a whole different defense, and they didn't know what they had to do.
Right.
Now we're going from quarters to single high, and you got a guy on the island out there who ain't never did it before. You're going to have to roll coverage over there. So if you ain't got guys who used to doing that and talking to each other, yeah, you're going to get ran off the field. But in situations like this where you got Deion and then you don't have to account for Travis, yeah, it's gonna do some things. So most guys be like, hey, remember on Karate Kid was like, hey, sweep the leg. And you're going to see a lot of that going this season.
Yeah, literally.
You know what I'm saying? Sensei gonna go in there and tell him to sweep the leg, and that's a part of the game, man. I mean, it's dirty, but I expect them to do that. And as far as collusion is concerned, I mean, each team gonna be fighting for their own, success. But it just so happens to add up against Deion.
Yeah.
It's a multiplier because that's just what it is.
Right. Awesome. All right. So what do you guys think that Colorado will wind up this year? Do you think they get to a bowl? Well, first of all, what was the expectation? We got 500, we got 6 wins, we got bowl bids. Where do you think, just based on the remaining schedule, where do you think how do you think they're gonna land? And again, I think they're gonna be without Travis. I definitely, for this game coming up, I think they're without him. He could possibly play in the game following. But how do you see the season shaping up for Colorado overall? We're still over under on them?
I think I can get to 500, man. I think they can, because they got how many more games they got left? About what, eight games left? And Travis gonna be out for about another 2 more. So yeah, they already won 2, so they got to win what, 3-4 more games.
Yeah.
I think they can get there, man. I think 4 games is doable. You know,
Yeah, they 3-1 right now. They're
oh, they're
3-1.
gonna
They got
lose the SC, baby.
Yeah,
I mean,
SC and Utah is going to be tough.
Yeah, buddy.
That is going to be very tough for them to get past those two.
look, at the beginning of the season, before the thing kicked off, I said they would go 7-5. I looked at the schedule. I think they would go 7-5. Currently, right now, I think they could go 8-4. I think they probably got 3 more losses on the schedule, and one's going to be this weekend. It makes 2. I think they're going to end up losing to USC. I mean, Utah. Now the game it's going to be a toss up. It's going to be that UCLA or that the Washington State game. That's what's going to be the toss up, where they can go do the 8-4 or the 7-5. That to me. But look, they got a lot of winnable games in the next few games. Got Arizona State. They got the Stanfords. You know, they got Arizona. I'm not a big believer in Oregon State, so I you know, that's not a believer in Oregon State. But so I think they got a opportunity to go on to go maybe 3-1 the next 4 games.
Okay.
I got them going 500, man. For the simple fact that they ain't got enough horses, man. You know, the backup guys, man. The depth is real toward the end of the season. So, you know, it's real cool to have everybody at the beginning of the season when you got your horses, but what do you do when you get banged up? You know what I mean? Like the Cowboys had their whole entire offensive line gone. You know what I mean? The whole team with the pot because we can't play complimentary football. It's the same way up there in Colorado. You know, if you can't block nobody, then what you gonna do? You're gonna get guys banged up like Travis, and you know, you're gonna lose a few. That's just part of the game. But I'm looking at about 500, you know, bowl game. You know what I'm saying? So
all right, so definitely 6. So you got him. What's that? 6-6.
I got him at 6-6, man.
6-6.
I'm with Lost too, man. Like no depth, and this past weekend shows what they can do. I mean, what they can't do without their stars. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's only going to get worse. You know what I'm saying? Guys are going to get banged up, nicked up, can't be as flashy as whatever. It's only going to get worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to be honest, man, I'm really not a true believer in Shador. Like I've never like his game's been documented since high school, and I've never seen anything like pop off the screen or really be special with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if he was really that special, then he would have went D1 from the jump. Like it wouldn't have been a Jackson State situation. He would have went somewhere instantly. You know what I mean? So I'm just not a huge believer. Like I'm not saying.
All right. So let me ask you. Do you think? Okay. So next year, let's say he plays one more. After this year, he plays one more year. You project him to be a first-round draft pick?
No.
Okay.
Oh no, lost. Look, let me say this. The way I watch it, now he had some D1 offers. He chose not to because his dad told him to come to Jackson State with him. That's why he ended up at Jackson State. So he had D1 offers. But when I watched that 2-minute drive against Colorado State, you had to go 98 yards. That's saying something. You got veteran guys that can't do that. You got NFL guys that can't do that shit. And for this young man to do that in a rivalry game like that, with everything on the line, and not only that, you had to get a 2-point conversion, not just a touchdown. Had to get a 2-point conversion. That man's got some big cojones, and he showed it, and he played his ass off to get him there. He had a rough first half, but that second half, there wasn't nothing they can do with him.
But he's not a freshman or not. He a junior.
He's sophomore. He's a sophomore.
Didn't he play 2 years at Jackson State though?
Mm-mm.
He played 1 year without Shador and 1 year with Shador. I mean, one year without Travis and 1 year with Travis, right? I might be tripping.
I think he's a junior.
Is he a junior?
I think he's a junior.
Okay, my bad.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's what a junior should be doing. That's a vet.
But we say that's what they juniors should be doing. Look at these other teams. That's not what they're doing. You got grad transfers still playing 5th and 6th year. I'm not doing shit like that. They just not. We got NFL full of quarterbacks, and over 70% of them are trash. But they just so happens you got to put somebody into position.
Let me ask you this: Trevor Lawrence or Shador Sanders? Who you taking?
Trevor Lawrence or Shedeur Sanders?
Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
taking. I mean, certainly based on his work with
right now, I mean, yeah, you would take him because he's an
Clemson. I
NFL
would.
quarterback. Look,
Well,
Trevor
not just
Lawrence.
that. No, but not just that. But
Trevor
even
Lawrence is
on
not
that
that much
level,
better than Justin Fields. If you look at their stats, it's about the same.
Justin Fields or Shedeur.
Uh,
Out of college.
The
What you
NFL
doing?
quarterbacks. You
That's
talk
a
about
hurtful
NFL.
question.
You talk about NFL quarterbacks, and they was blessed with great teams when they was in college.
Well, I mean, they're
He's
NFL
playing for a
quarterbacks
team
now.
with
I'm
nobody.
asking you to compare them out of college, right?
I can't because he played at Ohio State, and look, we don't know what type of line and NFL receivers he had, and offensive line he had at Ohio State, and backs and Clemson. He won a national championship game. It's kind of hard to say.
Listen.
I understand what you're trying to do.
Trevor Lawrence ain't lose until like his senior, like until his last year of college. Like he never lost a game.
But he came into a blessing because guess what? Deshaun Watson set precedents. He set him up to continue to win. So guess what? It's that pedigree. Shedeur never had nobody to coach him up, a veteran quarterback ahead of him. It was just him.
He has a Hall of Fame father. And he puts in work with Tom Brady. I know you've seen the clips.
That went to this year though. This past season. That was he didn't do it first year.
But he would have.
He's never had great O lines. He got hit too much at Jackson State, and he's getting hit too much now. So
I didn't see any clips of Trevor Lawrence with Tom Brady.
I don't think Shedeur's ready yet. To be honest, I think he needs a little bit more.
But
the
question is like, what's his seal? Does he have a ceiling? The question, I can buy that he may not be ready yet, but does he have a ceiling?
Yeah, I was gonna say, he still got 2 years. He still got this year and next year if he wanted to. So it's not like he's pressing. He's a senior year. He has another year to stay in college and do what he need to do. I think he's going to be a first round pick if he stays senior year and continue to get better. Look, he might get invited to the Heisman. He might by next year. He might get invited to the Heisman.
Maybe it might be a thing. Look, if he goes first round,
that's not necessary. If we're talking also NFL, that's not that. The Heisman has historically not been a great honor for quarterbacks. A lot of those guys don't necessarily do well on the next level, winning that Heisman award. So Manziel and now I know the guy's 2-1 with Tampa Bay.
2-1.
You're talking about
Baker Mayfield. So I know those guys, but that almost like that Heisman curse on some of these QBs. They don't necessarily pan out to be NFL. NFL great.
But you got to think, even with the hype that Baker Mayfield and Johnny Manziel, like that was star power. That you know what I'm saying? Like when they was coming out, they was the hottest thing smoke. I don't see Shedeur ever being it.
Give him time, brother. You got his first year in a major D1 level. So you look, they already shitted on him because they didn't think he could play on a major D1 level.
At Jackson State, though, he was still losing games at Jackson State.
Yeah, but last season they went undefeated, didn't it?
No,
they lost. They lost that.
He lost one game of the SWAC. He only lost 4 games in Jackson.
He should have been like, but his numbers ain't retarded. Like it should have been nuts. If he was that dude, he should have been absolutely.
So far, do you see? Look, if you take that Oregon game out and you look at his first 3 games,
I get it. No, I get it.
Nebraska and Colorado State.
I get it. Let's see what it is after. You know what I'm saying? When it's all said and done, if the numbers is the same, right? Because they didn't know what they was. You know what I mean? Like they can fizzle out.
We gotta let the cake bake. Let's see what happens.
Let it bake up a little bit before we make those assumptions. Because after the first week, people was like, "Oh, it's Heisman." Give it some time. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. You got to do it. But I like his trajectory. That's the thing about it. I do like his trajectory, and I can see where he's going. And when I seen that again, that 2-minute drive, that 2-minute drive against this rivalry of Colorado State. You know what I'm saying? We seen how back and forth the game was, how heated it was, and yet he rose to the occasion. He could have willed. He could have willed to right.
It was a great game. That was a great game.
Yes, it was.
That was
a hell of a drive to go down and score a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. That's saying a lot. Without your best player on the field, he wasn't on the field.
I get it. It was a terrific game. I watched every bit of it. You know what I'm saying? But this is my first time really even paying attention to college football, especially some Pac-12. You know what I'm saying? Last time I really
But
Oh
no,
yeah,
Last
we
time,
we were up late. I said we were
yeah.
all late.
Kind of
Up
last
come
time
on.
the
when Monday
Pac-12
night
was
watching
hot.
that game.
Reggie Bush was. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the
Yeah,
last time we was paying
by the time
attention.
to come on, we all sleep. We on the bed. We just seen everything on the East Coast, on the South.
Yeah.
Saying the Midwest. You're like,
Everybody,
okay.
like,
Pac
everybody
Two
12
was
who
o'clock in the
cares?
morning, we still watching football. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
college
yeah.
football on top of that. Yeah.
Man,
So,
to speak what Hank said, man, that was a fantastic drive because Deion took his sleeve and he wiped his son's blood off his mouth with his sleeve and he whispered something in his ear. I was like, oh, this the drive right here. He said something to him in his ear. I don't know what he said to him, but he got his attention. And he reached in his son, he pulled something out of him. And they went down that field and they won that game. How many more of those games do they got in them? You know what I mean? It's a long season. And I can't wait to see it, man.
yeah,
And you know how this
and
is how I know Colorado was big when they put them opposite against Alabama. Man, most teams don't want to be opposite Alabama. I don't know who wrote the schedule for that one, but that was a rough day for a lot of people, especially in the South, man. They wanted to watch both games at the same time.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. No, it's definitely it's been fun to watch, and it's almost like it's must see. Like I can't remember even in the Alabama years when they were great or whatever, where you just had this national attention. I know Notre Dame, they got the national contract with NBC and all that, but
Right.
guys tuning in to watch a college football team again, mostly for the coach is certainly something that's unprecedented. In my lifetime. And so again, I think what he's doing for the game itself. Again, can it be replicated? Because what I don't like is to talk about oh well, this is going to then inspire all these other players and all these other coaches to get into the ranks, and then all these and again it's a monkey see do league, so everyone's going to be looking for the next prime and try to bring to their programs. I just don't see a lot of that coming out. It's almost like people said when Tiger Woods was doing his thing that all these black players would get into golf or whatever, or the Williams sisters with tennis, and it didn't happen in mass. And I certainly think these are like once in a generation type of players and athletes, and in this case, him being a coach, that is not just going to be so easily replicated. Where we're going to see just plethora of all these black coaches getting into the certainly in the
NFL.
D1 ranks. I can't see that happening anytime soon. But we're certainly watching a unique moment in college football. So I'm just trying to enjoy it for what it is. But I actually a bit pessimistic about what is this going to do for the black college coach. Now, if he wins a national championship, that could be interesting in terms of what kind of impact that could have in the future. But I just don't see teams just running out just to go, where's the next Deion Sanders? We need to bring him to our program because he's just too unique a personality. But that's just something you can't just bottle up and sell it.
I definitely
Yeah,
think he
but
makes the jump
Mr.
to the
Bennett,
NFL.
that's normally what happens. We all know it's a monkey see, monkey do league. It only takes 1 or 2 years at a certain level of success, and everybody going, okay, let's start doing that. You remember when they ran the Wildcat? Everybody won't start doing it. Everybody tried
Oh,
to do
absolutely.
it. Knowing it wasn't going to be successful for long because it's a
Oh,
college game.
yeah, I remember even with the Steelers when Mike Tomlin won that Super Bowl. Everybody was trying to find that next young 30-something coordinator to come into the league. I know Denver hired I think a guy who might have been like 32 years old at head coach. So I think everybody was trying to copy that for a minute, and then that kind of recessed after a while.
Think about it, man.
For the Rams, my man McVay, now everybody want to go younger with the coaching and offensive minded type coach. We all know you have a defensive coach who had a bad season. Now we're gonna sway over. We're gonna get us an offensive minded coach. It happens, but I tell you this, a prototype. Look what Alabama's suffering through right now. They got 3 veteran quarterbacks and can't none of them play the goddamn position. None of them. And they just struggling. That Notre Dame transfer, he looked like shit. The current one, that dude's built like a Greek god, yet he can't play the damn position. He might as well just be a running back because he can't throw for shit. So they're suffering right now. They had no quarterback. Could you imagine Deion Sanders down that shore and what he would be doing for Alabama? They would be undefeated right now. That wouldn't be a problem. He would be winning. He got the horses, he got the tailback, and got a decent defense. Shit.
So here's a caveat. Here's a question, right?
Mhm.
Where do y'all think? What do you think is going to happen with the NFL running back, with the running back position as a whole?
And they're just shortchanging those guys. This year is going to show them how
As far as
important
pay,
the running back
or
position is.
just to playing time. What do you mean? I'm
I
sorry.
th- I th- I think I think quarterbacks are getting way more money. Like with Pat Mahomes got what, half a billion, right? Right?
Right.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So quarterbacks are taking up all that cap room.
But
Look at
they
the
always
quarterbacks.
have.
Look at the quarterbacks that are succeeding now, right? It's the Lamars, it's the Jalen Hurts, it's the Pats. You know what I'm saying? It's the who's the kid up in Buffalo? You know what I mean?
Josh Allen.
Josh
Josh
Allen.
Allen.
The running, the dual threat is going to be a must. And I think they're going to, like, running backs are going to have to become quarterbacks at this point. That's what I see happening.
I mean,
It's
definitely.
going to be like arena ball. It's going to be like
Well, yeah. I mean, I definitely
It
think
might
they're
be
going
a
away
bad.
from the head alone, just the guy running ahead. Which in some situations, like with the Steelers now, clearly we don't,
Mhm.
except for Warren, we can't, we can't be running these sweeps to the left to the right. We just don't have the outside speed to do that. But do they want to give these guys 300, 400 carries a year? So definitely it's almost like you're going to be like a Debo Samuels, who they put in the backfield. They put him on the at wide receiver. So again, I think that's where they're going with it. These big physical wide receivers, the guys who play running back. I think that's where it's going to be going. But the stocky 5'8", 210 or 5'10", 220 guy running between the tackles. They may be trying to get away from that just because, again, just the impact and the contact that these guys are making.
why you got to
Um,
say the height though? It's not the height. The height
I'm
guys,
just saying,
the shorter guys,
I'm just saying
5'9", running backs
yeah.
5'10" and under, don't get hurt like running backs 5'10" and over. Like I don't think you can be tall and play running back because you're always going to lose your legs.
Uh, my only
Low
said, well,
center of gravity.
They
Le'Veon.
all
I
got
mean,
knee problems.
Le'Veon was a freak, man. I mean, that guy was
Le'Veon
what,
was 6'1".
6'1". I'm saying,
Knee
and
problems. They all
he
got knee problems.
Here's
Well,
my
but
thing, guys.
that's all running backs, though, ain't it?
I
Yeah.
don't got no knee
The
problems.
running backs who usually had a low center of gravity, those guys usually do pretty good, especially they behind
do
the
well.
line. You know what I mean? A big line. You got guys like Deuce Vaughn. I can't wait to see him get cranking. But if you look at how like you
People
talked
keep
about
on going back
earlier,
to this goddamn Dallas shit
I'm
now.
just saying, man.
God
I'm just
dang,
saying,
we
man.
keep going back to this
Y'all
Dallas.
don't get this work. You know what I'm saying? But here's my thing, though. Like you said earlier, these leagues are copycat leagues. Remember when they first pulled in the read option into the NFL? Those guys laughed at them. Remember when Jerry Glanville had that little pistol and shoot, whatever he called his offense, the run and shoot. You know what I mean? They had your boy out there, Mouse too, out there running his same thing, and then they had the West Coast offense, and now in Dallas they got the Texas Coast offense. A lot of these things are about a lot of read options, so they're going to be copycatting a lot of this stuff. But if you ask me, the year of the huge big running backs like we used to have Bettis and Christian Okoye and guys like that, you ain't really got that many guys. So basically, it's going to be running
Derrick
back by
Henry's like
committee.
really only the main guy. Derrick Henry's the only guy
Right.
runs for that
You
kind
got
of.
guys who like Hunter Limke and all the rest of these guys, man, that's playing fullback. Those are specialty guys. They're not big bruisers or anything like that. To pick up a few chip guys on the edge or whatever, but outside of that, that's about it. This is about speed now.
And you really don't see the fullback. Like
Right,
remember back
no
in the day, you had
fullbacks.
Mike Allscott and those guys who would just
Right.
just open up those holes. You're not seeing that fullback
Yeah, but
that
that's
that
because of the
Bronco
offense they run, though. That's because of the offense. I don't think because nobody likes using. It's just the style of offense they run.
But
Right.
how many legit fullbacks? We don't even talk about the fullback position anymore.
There ain't that many. It's really not.
No.
It's really not. When we picked up ours, I was excited because of what he can do. You know what I mean? And he's a different guy. That guy come from South Dakota State, Hunter Lipke. He's going to take him a year or two to get into his NFL body. He's going to need some more off-season peanut butter. But I understand he's probably going to be special, but he got to learn how to block, man. That's the thing he got to work on. And my thing is this: it depends on the offense. Like Mike McCarthy said, he wants to play complementary football in the NFL. In order for you to win, you're gonna have to keep the ball out of some of these offenses' hands. Look what Miami did to Denver, man. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't keep the ball out of these guys' hands. It was like they couldn't stop scoring if they wanted to. They had the third string guys out there running it up. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta have a running game, man. You do, and they're gonna do it by committee. They're gonna take 5, maybe 4 running backs and spread the load out against them, and that's about it. You know, it ain't gonna be no more big running backs no more.
Yeah, the single back, the bell cow running back is done, and that's why they're getting low budget, low ball, because now I got to spread it amongst, like you said, 3 or 4 running backs. I'm not going to give you a 15 to a damn near $20 million contract a year when you got to share the ball when you're only getting 15 carries, and your backup's getting 8. You're not carrying 25 games no more. Them days are long gone. You got to turn the page on that. So now they have no choice but to spread the money around, get running back committee, because nobody's doing it anymore. You got maybe 3 teams left to still do the single back, and Derrick Henry is one. Maybe Jonathan Taylor if he ever come back. And
did you see how much money Cleveland left on the table when Nick Chubb had to get up out of there with his jelly legs? You know what I'm saying?
Sure,
that's too much money to be in one spot.
Yeah,
so these owners know that. You know?
I think that last was that major contract with that running back for the Rams a few years back. Gurley, yeah, I think that might have been like the last straw for a lot of these teams not wanting to offer that kind of money up, because he was the last RB I can remember who really got paid like that.
Zeke got paid like that. We got rid of him.
Well, that's another. Yeah, add Zeke to the also, and he plummeted after he got that money. It was
that was crab cakes in Cabo. You know what I'm saying?
That was crazy
chubby out there. You know,
that was insane.
Yeah, it was rough. But I don't know, man. I think Shedeur gonna be good, man. I think he's gonna be good. I know y'all feel differently. I understand. I understand.
I hope he's good.
Yeah.
I want him to be good.
I think he's gonna surprise the people. I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, he won't be in New York. You know what I'm saying? This time next year. Well, I mean, not this time next year, but at the end of the season next year. I wouldn't be surprised. And like I said, in 3 years, I wouldn't be surprised if Deion will be in the playoffs, because by then I think they're supposed to go up to 8 teams.
Yeah,
what playoffs? Yeah. And he's not going to be there.
You don't think you don't? Oh, okay. Well, if he's there, he's
not going to be there.
I think he could take the Colorado Buffaloes to the college playoff.
He's going to mess around and go. Who needs a head coach right now? What, Detroit maybe? No, Detroit's doing good this year.
Oh, they doing good.
They're doing good this year. But I can see him going over and taking like one of those teams like Detroit or Minnesota, or you know what I mean, something like, you know what I mean, one of those off-brand teams. I'm not saying Minnesota's off-brand; they've been pretty hot, but you understand what I'm saying. It ain't gonna be like, or it might be a Dallas. It might be a Dallas. You know, y'all are pretty wishy, and he got that relationship with Jerry.
Yeah, but Jerry's going to have to give up a lot of control if he wants to get Deion over there.
And nobody Jerry ain't finna do that.
But Deion ain't going. Deion ain't going. I'm gonna love you from a distance,
but
Jerry.
Who better?
I'm gonna go where you ain't gonna let me say what I could get, what I could bring in.
Who better to get Jerry to do something that he don't want to do than Deion? He got him to do it one time.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And what better start? Jerry likes controversy, man. Yeah. Jerry loves controversy. You know what I mean? That's his thing. You know, Jerry, he got on the news talking about
I want me some glory hole.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And everybody went crazy.
God damn, Jerry.
Jerry said he wants some glory hole. He want to win, baby. You know what I'm saying?
He wants somebody. What's that? Robert Kraft from
hey, you know what I'm saying?
He wants that rub down. He wants to
get him a chubby rub, you know.
Yeah, I'm looking forward, like you said, to see how they're going to bounce back after getting their ass stumped by Oregon. It's definitely going to be interesting to see how Buffalo bounce back from that game. I don't think Travis is going to play. I know, like you said, he wants to play bad, but I think young man, just sit out one more game and let your body heal and take some time. You know what I'm saying? I know they're not more likely to win, but are they going to compete? And that's the thing about it. Are they going to compete?
Right.
I know you're not going to win, but are you going to at least compete? So,
like I said, he needs some more bodies, Hank. Deion needs some more bodies, man.
For sure.
He needs to show up the interior. You know, he needs some good linebackers. The little linebackers they got some grit, but you know, they ain't got no meat on their bones.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate the heart. I appreciate the heart, young fellas.
I appreciate the heart.
But I need for you to I need some more grown men out here. And these are young you're young adults. I need grown men out here to play.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's gonna definitely make a difference. But so, like I said, if he's still there,
I think he got something to prove,
I will
man.
be surprised.
I really do think he got something to prove, man. Because he's won on every level he's been on. And this is just the next step, the next progression.
Yeah.
And I think once he gets a certain level of success, I think he's out of there, man. You know, where else can he go? You know what I mean? SEC, Big Ten. I don't think it's a fit for Big Ten. But I can definitely see him fitting in the SEC somewhere. I can definitely see that.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Look, with his style, look, the SEC's already getting big checks. They already getting big checks. And imagine what he would do for a team like you said, over the SEC.
Right.
I mean, you talk about the best conference in football right now. Now they add a team like who is historically good with Texas and Oklahoma.
Right.
You know, that's going to be amazing. You got 16.
And say, for instance, Hank, if he went to somewhere like LSU, LSU is not a normal white, school. They got some soul in them, man. They be talking out the side of your neck. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. Come on, LSU. I can see Deion going to LSU and doing some stuff like that. I can definitely see that.
It's very well possible. It's very well possible. Now, the thing about LSU, unless Brian Kelly decides to go to the NFL, I don't think they're going to go.
He ain't going to be long. He won't be long.
You don't think so?
No, he trash, man.
God damn.
He trash. They're going to expose him. He just buying out his contract, man. Brian Kelly, they may give him another year, man. LSU had their coaches on the short rope. They ain't been right since Nick Saban left, man. They still salty about that. Man. But I can definitely see Deion in LSU. I can see that. And LSU would be DBU all over again.
Y'all ain't done living in like La La Land yet. He not gonna be gone.
But you saying
I think everybody agrees he's going to
the NFL. You don't see him going to another college. You just say he's going straight to the NFL. Is that what you think?
He's following his son, man. Like I'm telling you, if he can't get a job in the NFL coaching Shador, he's not coaching.
Well, who's gonna give up their job in the NFL? These guys, that's a whole nother beast up there, man.
But if anybody's gonna do it, it's that guy.
Yeah. You're right.
But we all know all the coaches with their pride and ego. They're gonna try. Some will succeed, most will fail.
Right. Remember, it's only 32 teams up there. They can, have a little Sunday meeting, get together, and decide who's gonna be coaching and who ain't, if they really wanted to.
Yeah, but we're talking about head coach though. As tough as it is to get a brother in there. I mean, Prototype's already saying he doesn't look at Shador as a top, a first round QB. So unless he's coming in, if he's number one overall, then I could see a team possibly letting Deion get in there in that coaching spot. But I can't see if we're saying that his son might not even be a first rounder.
I give him third round.
Third rounder, so he is not going to. He is not going to get a head coaching job.
I'll give him the bottom of the first round, but I ain't gonna say no third round.
I give him third. It depends on how bad they're looking. Like I guess it's Baker Mayfield is still playing, and like those kind of guys. I can see somebody being desperate, and
well, look,
they're not going. Nobody's jumping up to get him or making a move to get him.
But Prototype, that's what I said. If you look at the quarterbacks, 32 teams, 70% of the quarterbacks in the NFL are trash right now.
Yeah. And the Jets, they just signed Simeon.
Deion got a good relationship with Washington.
I hope he don't go to Washington.
He got a relationship. I can see him doing that. He got a relationship with him.
Yeah, I think Ron Rivera is out after this year. I can see that. I can see it.
That was.
Well, we keep talking about Shador, but what do you guys think about Shiloh? Or who do you think who drafts high? You think Shiloh is he a first round pick, or do you think he'll go before his brother?
No.
Now you talking about Sanders to go third round? I think he'll be the one to go third round.
Yeah,
he'll go fifth.
He'll go. Here's a third round.
Wow.
You said what?
He'll go
He said
fifth.
fifth round.
Yeah, he'll be in Detroit somewhere. You know what I mean?
He'll be out and about. Like
Detroit getting nice
Hey.
now. Well, hang
Hey.
on, hey, Detroit. That they're looking to win that NFC North. So
Right.
don't sleep on Detroit.
Right now they lead the division, and then they play
Right.
Georgia. They play Green Bay this weekend, and they could take the number 1 overall spot for the.
I think they can do it, man. They got the horses. They got the
Oh,
horses.
they're good. They're a good
What do you
team.
guys think of? What do you guys think of Love? Jordan Love, impressed so far with what he's showing?
Yeah,
Or
no,
He's
he's one of them 70% quarterback is trash.
He Trey Lance, man.
he just
is
led his
trash.
team back from an 17-point deficit to pull his team to victory, man.
Who did he play though? Did he play the trash ass Saints?
Shout out to BMU.
Mm.
That was a shot fired.
He's gonna be mad at
That's
me
what
now.
shots
He gonna
You're
be
turning
mad
the
at
lights out on that one. You know what I'm saying?
me. He'll be mad. You don't talk about my Saints. No, but man, I don't take Jordan Love serious, man. God, man, I watched him last week. Who was at the team they end up losing to?
what quarterbacks you take serious that aren't the not Pat Mahomes, not Josh Allen?
Mm-hmm.
Who you taking serious?
Jalen Hurt.
Definitely.
Yes.
Well, let me go by NFC. I don't take Dak serious. Sorry, a loss of as far as in that division, I like Philly. I like Jalen Hurt. I don't like the Washington quarterback. I don't like the Giants quarterback.
Daniel Dimes,
Danny
Dimes. You know?
Daniel Jones.
That's the Giants.
Yeah, that's the Giants.
Quarterback.
Yeah, he's just going to the East, NFC East. He just went to the East.
Is it Heineke or something like that?
Yeah. The quarterback. He's from Carolina.
Bill, something like that, you know.
I think that's Heineke.
He's trash. You couldn't even remember he's trash. That shows how bad he is. So now we got the West. I don't think Geno Smith is that good. Brock Purdy, I'm gonna give him some time.
He's got some moxie.
I think he can.
The way he spanked us.
The man got grit, man.
I'm not giving him all the grit and everything yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him some time. So I'm gonna be patient on him.
Yeah.
As far as who else is in that,
you got Joshua Dobbs from Pittsburgh.
Herbert.
Boom.
No, he's in the AFC.
He's the AFC, but
AFC.
I mean to jump in like
Josh Dobbs.
I like Herbert. I like Joe Burrows. I think those are two good quarterbacks. Lamar's so inconsistent though, man. But he's good. He has his moments.
Shout out to World Class in the chat. He made y'all trolling.
As far as Detroit, I mean, as far as in my team division, yeah, I wouldn't take none of them. Look, Jared Goff is okay. He's okay. He's a feasible quarterback. Kirk Cousins trash to me.
Trash.
Justin Fields is trash right now. Who else you got? Like I said, I already talked about Jordan Love. I think he's trash. Where we at now? The NFC East.
Okay.
The South.
Better than all of them.
The South has no good quarterbacks in it.
None. You got Ritter for the Falcons.
Trash.
Right. Who else you got? Who's
Baker Mayfield for Tampa Bay. You had Derek Carr for the Saints.
Trash.
And you got Bryce Young for for Carolina.
Is he hurt?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think
he's getting hurt.
He got banged up. He played.
Yeah.
He got banged up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I think who's Andy Dalton was playing.
He played for the Saints though. He played for the Saints.
He's playing for the Saints right now.
Yeah.
They just be mixing stuff up down there. That's as far as they quarterback.
No, you're right. He played for Carolina. You're right.
Yeah.
But no.
Because the backup is Jameis Winston for the Saints.
Yeah, Young did play. But he got hurt. He got banged up a little bit. So they pulled
that whole division don't got no QBs.
None. So when you go to AFC, I like Justin Herbert, and I like Patrick Mahomes. The Raiders don't have one in Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy G.
He's always been trash.
Cornstar Jimmy, come on, man.
Yeah.
Man, Jimmy's always been trash to me, yo. Like he can't stay on the field for nothing.
Yeah,
Come
He's
on,
always
Russell
been
man.
trash.
Russell
Jimmy G got
Wilson
magic
is
in
a
him.
system quarterback, so
What's
he
wrong
just
with
mad
Russ,
at
man? What's
quarterback.
going on with that guy?
I don't know, man.
We already know what's up
What's
with
wrong
that.
with his defense?
We'll
I mean,
talk
look,
about that
the numbers
in the
haven't been
barbershop.
the numbers haven't been horrible, but I mean, this defense can't stop anybody. I mean, you get 70 put up on you, that can't be just on him.
They
I
gave
mean,
him too
even
much.
with
I'm
last
like,
year,
look,
like you know what I'm saying, like
whoever bought Denver last year, and look, I want my money, I want my $6 billion back.
Mm.
You can't, y'all put a 70 spot on. I want my money back, man.
Man, nobody wants to be in Denver, man. Think about it. Dan
Yeah.
Quinn have interviewed for the Denver head coach job twice. And he's like, no, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? It's something up there in Denver, man.
What else? You got the
You got the
AFC.
rookie. Well,
you
you
got
got
the
the
AFC
rookie in
East.
Houston.
Yeah, he trash. I mean,
DJ
I don't know.
DJ
I'm gonna
Stroud?
give him time. I'm gonna give him
Man,
time
man.
because he's got a
Yeah,
chance.
give-
He's got a
give him
chance.
time.
You got what you got. You got the Jets. Aaron Rodgers' time is
Super trash.
that's despicable. What happened?
That's
Yeah,
donkey
and
juke
then
up
you
there,
got-
man.
You got Zach Wilson. So I don't.
trash.
They're not good.
Trash.
As
Yeah,
far
you
as
you got
the
the
New
Patriots.
England Patriots,
Yeah.
Mac Jones,
They're
I
not
think
going
he's
Mac.
trash.
Trash.
Mac
Trash.
Jones, come on, man. Mac Jones, who?
Trash.
Mac
Yeah,
Jones. We gonna see
I'll
this
never
week,
like the
though.
Patriots
Yeah,
again, like just because of how they did camp.
Trash.
They need
I
to-
mean-
somebody need to call Cam because all these trash quarterbacks. Somebody need to call Cam.
Oh well, look, Colin Kaepernick penned a letter to the Jets. So let me get on your practice squad at least. So
He
Something.
ain't serious.
so-
He ain't serious.
Yeah.
I'm saying
Yeah.
they signed. Wait a minute, the Jets signed Trevor Siemian. I mean, they they got trash QB and they just signed another trash QB. You can't
But-
you can't do worse than Colin Kaepernick at this point. I'm sorry.
I just that's
I'm not.
that's the trash you got. That's the trash you got.
But why are you
So-
going to sign trash on top of that? I mean, make a deal. I mean, so you got Jameis Winston in New Orleans. You got to went from. I mean, heck. I mean, I would even take a chance on Wentz if you're going to get anybody back. I don't think.
Oh no,
Carson
Is he in the
Wentz.
league? I'm saying.
Carson Wentz is trash beyond trash.
But
Absolutely garbage.
He's not
Can't read a
supposed to be Trevor
defense.
Siemian.
Oh no,
Trevor Siemian's going to help you.
Carson
gonna
Wentz
do for you?
is like I don't know how.
I'm not saying he's going to lead into a Super Bowl, but I mean,
He's
at
not
least you
gonna
got
do
a halfway
nothing.
decent. You got a halfway decent defense.
He's
You know,
part of
get
that
to 6 wins.
70%
It may
that's
go 1 and
trash.
7. It may go 1 and
A lot of
16 now.
trash.
He's
man.
trash.
That's
Carson Wentz is a no.
I
like,
get it. I get it. But I mean, to sign
Listen,
Trevor
you just
Siemian,
want
that
a
is
warm
not
body,
gonna
though, don't you? That's all you want. Just want a warm
yeah,
body.
right. He's just
Y'all wonder why Jerry Jones stashed away Trey Lance. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get us some picks.
ooh,
We're gonna get us some picks, bro. We ain't gonna use Trey. We're gonna just build him up a little bit. You know
You
what I'm
think,
saying?
well, you're not gonna get that much.
We're
for
gonna
Trevor.
trade. We're gonna get rid of Trey.
You're not gonna get a lot for him. You're not.
You don't think?
Maybe that's a third round
All
pick.
these garbage quarterbacks out here, we're gonna get something for him.
You get a
He ain't
third
gonna
round
play
pick
for
for him.
us.
You think they're no, I think that's the contingency plan. I like
Yeah.
Trey Lance.
We can at least get a third for him.
Yeah, but he hasn't shown anything so far.
Yeah, I
He
want
got
to see like the potential become something.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I really do.
Yeah,
So I think
mean,
that was a smart move by Dallas, though.
It
I
sure
ain't gonna
was.
lie. Get
So
rid
So
of
you
gonna
think
Dak.
this
get
is
my
if
back
it's,
pocket
do you
right
think
quick.
this is if so? What does Dak have to do this year to keep his job?
And Dak can't lose his job, bro. Jared and paid too much
Can't
money
lose
for
it?
him. Nope.
They
Who's the
go
backup?
12-5 and lose in the first round. He keeps his job.
He gonna keep his job, man.
Wow.
I
They
tell
gonna
you
keep him out
what,
there.
I'm not sold on Kenny Pickett, yo.
Who you
Oh,
gonna put
hell
out there? Kenny
I am
Pickett.
not sold.
Yeah, he's part of that at 70%.
Yeah,
He's
definitely below. I would say
His-
he's around. I would say he's bottom 15, maybe 16, 17.
man.
At
Hey,
I'll take
just based
Shador.
on
over-
based on
I'll
now you tripping. Now you tripping. Now you tripping.
Now you ready to bring him to the
Now
fold?
you talk about
Hey.
third rounder.
Kenny
Nah, I'm
Pickett's
sorry.
ceiling is mid. You know
Hey,
what I'm
Shador
saying?
will move from third round to second round now.
I'll take
Right.
Shador.
Look, I definitely think we need a new coordinator in Pittsburgh for sure. You know, so you can get rid of
Deion.
Matt. You can get rid of Matt Canada. That's
Deion
for
gonna be
sure.
the coordinator.
I'm saying get rid of Matt Canada. Yeah, I'm down with that. Pickett. You know, I'm not over him as of yet. I'll still give him some time. But again, these plays, these zone running schemes that they're doing, you got 240-pound running back who needs to be running between the two tackles or two tight ends, and yet they're doing these wrong.
Can't create no
he
holes
can,
for him.
Well, he can't run, but he's too slow to run to the outside either. He can't run to the outside, yet they have all these sweet plays to the outside. He can't do that either. But you got a 240-pound ram him through the
I don't want to
line.
see him fail. I mean, it's looking like he's failing. It looked like he's
Oh
tripping.
yeah, Warren's definitely going to get a lot of that shine for sure.
I don't think
But
Warren's that guy either.
He's better. He got more pop than Najee to me.
yeah,
More pop.
Najee's
Yes, but
almost
that's
like Najee would have been great 20 years ago.
I
Yeah.
agree.
But now.
we don't
Like I
got the
said, the
line
game.
for it, man. We just don't get the line and move people out the way to make a hole for Najee. Like, you know what I'm
And
saying?
I
Like,
think that's
Oh
why
yeah,
Jalen.
we're
I
getting
think that's why
dominated.
Jalen
Yeah,
Warren's going to be more successful because y'all don't have a line.
but
And
I
so
don't
he's
think
fast enough.
Jalen Warren's that guy. He's a come in a couple plays kind of guy. He's not a feature back though.
Nah, you know what he's like? Remember y'all had Parker?
Yup, exactly.
That's
yeah,
what he
Willie
reminds
Parker.
me
Yeah,
of.
That's
yeah,
exactly what he is. Absolutely.
yeah.
We gotta start
Yeah,
getting some of
Parker
these
was
women to
beast.
push out
Yeah,
some of these D tackles and some of these left tackles. You know what I'm saying, baby? You better get you
Shoot,
an offensive lineman.
I was just in Texas,
Get you a
man.
guard in
All the
your
women
life.
seem like they 6 foot tall in Texas.
Yeah, yeah.
that's
Y'all
all
need to
right.
push out some of these big babies. You know what
There's
I'm
some
saying?
big women in Texas, boy.
Well, shit. You got first of all, you got to play. You got to get them to play football. A lot of these mothers don't want their kids to play football no more.
Man, please. They need some football in their life. Make a man out you.
They
You know?
probably do, but yeah, I see some big soft ass kids come through to the grocery store like, God damn, how don't you son? Oh, he's 10. Big ass look like he play high school right now.
You got a 6'4",
Does he play
10-year-old.
football? No, he don't want to play football.
Mm-mm.
Get your big soft ass out of here. What the? He won't be a goddamn ballet dancer.
Damn, not a ballet.
Well, a hip hop dancer. You know what I'm saying?
He won't go viral. He won't go viral on TikTok. Okay,
Right.
Get out of here, man.
Yeah.
God damn, what we doing
All right, well,
here?
guys, we're at 9:45. I know this show usually runs for about 9:30, so we want to take a little longer. So we want to start putting in our final thoughts on certainly on the topic at hand. So again, obviously there is a prime effect that is happening in college football, and I think it's for the good. And I think what I think a lot of these coaches, what they need to understand is that look, everybody can eat. That's why I think what a lot of these guys aren't recognizing. Everybody can eat on this plate that's being served up, but everybody is just letting the moment or whatever, or the shine, whatever, the jealousy kind of getting in the way of things. But let's go around. If you guys have final thoughts on this topic or anything that we've talked about tonight on the prime effect and how you see this affecting the future of college football, if you think it be a future, or has been mentioned earlier, if he's only going to be there for a couple of years, and what do you see as the next moves?
Well, right now, as the black coaches, we need Deion to continue to shine, because Mel Tucker has put a little stain on the black quarterbacks. I mean, the black coaches. Unfortunately, with his situation, whether it's true or not, that's allegedly, we don't know, but it still has put a stain on black coaches, and I hate to see situations like that. It's just unfortunate. So we need Deion to continue to be successful and talk his shit, continue to win, continue bringing black coaches to a positive light, because there are a lot of good young black coaches that really deserve opportunities. And I appreciate Deion, what he's doing. He's got a nice amount of lot of young black assistant coaches, and bringing other guys up to be coaches and giving them opportunities. So, hey, Deion, keep doing what you're doing, brother. I want to see you win it all, man. I want to see you win every game from here on out. But more likely it won't happen. But I just wish him nothing but the best.
Absolutely. Prototype.
Yeah, so I'm gonna watch every game. And there is a prime effect, man, and I think it's a good thing going on. I want him to succeed. I want his kids to succeed. I wish they was going to go undefeated. Like, what I'm saying? But that's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like Law said, we probably give them, 6-6 or whatever, 500 season. But I would like them to see, playoffs and, kill it. And, I just hope the best for the situation. You know what I'm saying? That's my last one out.
Awesome. Lost.
Man, we want to make sure we keep the focus, the main thing. We always want to make sure our brothers have success. And what Deion is doing and what he has done, he's actually elevating the conversation. You know what I mean? There's a while back, it was like, He can't play cornerback. You know what I mean? That type of thing. And then the flash, and everybody was like, "Why you gonna run a 4.240 in church shoes on your way to the club?" You know what I mean? That type of thing. And he did it his way. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And my thing is this: he did it his way when he played ball, and now coaching. I wish him much success, but I think Deion has a bigger agenda, and we got to stay focused. Not only do we need more black coaches, we also need to tap on that last final door as ownership too. So I
Yeah.
I wish him much success, as much as he can get, much as he can stand, and bring folks along like he's been doing. A lot of people don't realize that the head coach for Jackson State, Dion, pretty much gave them their blessing. So now this brother down here, Jackson State, has an opportunity, and they're having a winning culture down there. So I think it's one thing for you to shine on your own, but it's another thing to support others and support Black excellence. And I think we need to get back to that, because I think that's what we're at our best. If you guys want to follow me, you can find me on the Volume with Vach Lombardi and the Cowboy Talk. You can come over there and find out. For the rest of you Cowboys fans, if everybody else, you can still join us. We still talk about other teams, and we also talk about drafting and things like that in the off season. So we really break this thing down, man, and we have a good time. So if you guys want to follow us over to the Volume over there, Colin Cowherd, that's what we do. Thank you so much,
Awesome.
man.
Do
Awesome.
we have to
Awesome.
talk about the Cowboys though? That's
Hey,
yeah.
Vach run the Cowboys over there, man. But
Can we talk
off
about a
season, we
real
talk
team?
about other
Can we
teams.
talk about a real team?
Yeah, we talk about drafting all players. You know what I'm saying, and where they projected to go. So we talk football over there for real. So you'll get something out of it.
I heard that. I heard that. Well, first of all, I thank you guys for coming up again for Shawnee and Dante. I know they had some things to take care of tonight, so hopefully everything is going well with their families, and hopefully you'll see those brothers back here next week. This would have been the perfect week to talk about the Cowboys, but they found a reason not to
I knew
show
that
up
was gonna
today.
happen, man. I knew
So,
that.
but as far as Deion, first and foremost, I pray for certainly his health, because
Right.
for a lot, if you guys have been following, certainly he's had the surgery. He's not quite out of the woods yet. When it comes to these clots and the things that are going on, I mean, he's certainly doing a lot better in terms of not having to take. I think they talk about he was taking like 30, 40, 50 pills a day. Now he's down to like under a dozen pills a day or whatever. But there's still got some things that he still need to work out health wise. So the first thing that hopefully that he can finally be healed and have a good standard of living for that time out. So that's, for me, that's first and foremost. But certainly, echoing what you guys are saying, I think he's been certainly, again, a very positive effect on the game, and just the way he keeps it real. I mean, what I love about him is he'll say the stuff in his press conferences that everybody knows and thinks, but he's the first one got to say it. And so he's always he's always checking people on that in that regard. But yeah, I think that I think he certainly has an opportunity to have a winning program. But like we said earlier, I do think he's got a couple years here. I don't think this is going to be a permanent stay for him. That whether he goes to the NFL or not, whether he wants to deal with NFL egos, that I'm not sure. And like I said, unless Shador or even Shiloh, unless either one of those guys is a first overall pick or whatever, I don't see just how tough it is for black people to get head coaching jobs in the NFL. I just don't think that's going to be enough to get him to get him that, or whether or not he wants to deal with again grown men, and he just can't talk to them just the way he talks to these guys in these practices. That just doesn't work on the NFL level anymore. So so if he does wind up with a Power Five conference, and he can, at that time, but really, if he can get to like, again, into the college playoff situation and whatnot, then I think then he could possibly have an impact on giving more black coaches opportunities at this level. But we see them, regardless. I mean, I think one thing that the Colorado State game, we didn't see that the Colorado State team, they had black coaches all on that staff, and we got a chance to see those guys shine. And it's interesting, the guy, the commentator, he was talking about how good a job that the defensive coordinator for Colorado State did until that final 98-yard drive for Colorado State to take the game into overtime. So I think certainly I think this is a platform where I think the fact that black coaches can be highlighted across the board. This is an opportunity for everybody can get a seat at the table. Everyone can share in this pot. It's good for your recruiting. It's good for your school. It's good the publicity that you're getting. I just wish that people, rather than thinking on the jealous route or thinking in terms of scarcity, that people start thinking in abundance, and that this could be a good thing for all of us, and that we can all learn from this. So that's certainly my hope in this process. But as we said, I'll be watching every game. It's must see, not only TV, but I have my quorum of brothers, and we just text and going back and forth, or sometimes we get together and watch the games. And it's really been a very fun experience. I haven't seen this in college football in quite a number of years. So hopefully this will continue. But I think we're gonna certainly wrap up the show. Again, thank you, Black Man, as usual, for offering this opportunity. And I know you're healing. Hopefully you get well soon, so you'll be fully back to where you need to be. Just thank you for the platforms that you offer and all these different avenues which we can have this sort of expression, talk about sports, talk about marriage, talk about just life topics in general. I know a lot of you guys I'm going to see in the barbershop on Friday, but just thank you for just having this positive this platform for positive content that looks to uplift and for us to exchange ideas and hopefully become better for it. So thank you for Black Man for everything you're doing. And again, thank you for those in the chat who've been following us. World class. I didn't get to you, but we're in first place, baby, right next to you. So looking forward to those upcoming matchups with the Ravens and the Steelers coming up. And thank you, Prototype. It's good to know that there's another Steeler fan with us, and you're a true Pittsburgh G. So I will always defer to you in that regard. But certainly, pleasure sharing the floor with you tonight. But for everyone else, I think we are done for the night. You guys have a good one. Also coming up, Brother Mandrell, he has a show coming up, I believe at 10 or 10:30 tonight. So for you guys, support that brother, when you can. Also, he gets a lot of clown in this place, but we certainly support what he tries to do also. So for everyone else, have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your week. God bless and be safe. Take care.
Good night.